Hello, everyone. Quande 3000 here. Sure, you all have been hearing and seeing the spectacular news about Nintendo recently. You know, all the shit that they've been doing to shoot themselves in the foot. If you haven't, some of the news involves them taking down the Etika Joy-Cons, which were fan-made Joy-Cons, and all the proceeds are going to charity. The Smash Bros. Community, their continuous fight against Nintendo and trying to just get something fucking done and get them to listen to them. We've also got the Splatoon tournament with a whopping $25 prize money. And that got canceled. The entire tournament got canceled because some of the teams were supporting the free Melee movement. Good job on you, Nintendo. And them also removing some video game music from YouTube. Now, just to go ahead and start off, rest in peace, Gilvia Sun or Smash Bros. Music. I used to listen to that shit all the time, but, it will be missed and niggas will be pissed. But that's all new things. And honestly, I'm not too surprised by any of the new shit I've seen recently. I'd rather go back in time and just look at some of the DMCAs and all the other instances of Nintendo just spitting in the faces of every abled or disabled bodied person they fucking can. Now, before we get into that, just so you know, a DMCA takedown is just a letter that states that you have somehow infringed upon the copyright of someone's creative project or their IP. If you don't take it down, you open yourself up to be sued so badly they can take the dirt out your fucking yard. So, let's kick this off with Pokemon Uranium. Now, that's an actual fan favorite of mine, and it hits pretty close to my heart. Pokemon Uranium was a fan-made Pokemon game worked on many people, such as Involuntary Twitch, Alex Navarria, M-Dash, and JV. And it was made in RPG Maker XP and had been in development for about 9 years. It had a new region, a new story concept, and brand new, fan-made Pokemon sprites. The people who worked on this worked really hard. They worked their fucking asses off and went way above expectations for a fucking fan game. It even had online battles and online trading. Now, I loved playing it, and I was excited to get a little bit more of it, but then, Nintendo stuck their heads and they were like, damn, dude, that's, wow, a Pokemon game. That's very fucking bold for you to put your fucking name on that. To put the word Pokemon on this goddamn game you just made. Of course, on August 6, 2016, they shut the project down. And that was 9 years of hard work, free labor, love and excitement, all this fan-made shit, loving Nintendo, destroyed. Because Nintendo decided it wasn't part of their regulated fun. Fucking sucks, but the game was even nominated for the best fan game in the Game Awards of 2016, but it had to be removed without notice. I wonder why. And before any, Nintendogs come bootlicking, I'm just going ahead and let you know right here and now. I don't care. I don't give a fuck what you think, but, fuck Nintendo on this one. But luckily, and on the bright side, you can still find a lot of places to download it, and the devs kept updating it and patching it, and apparently it is 100% complete. So if you can, go check that shit out. Next game I want to talk about is AM2R. It's also known as another Metroid 2 remake. Now, unluckily for me, it was taken down before I got a chance to play it, though just like Pokemon Uranium and some of these other games on this list, I'm still sure you can find it somewhere, but I digress. So you can tell by the name, AM2R is a fan remake of Metroid 2 Return of Samus. Now, it was released in August 2016, developed by Milton Gosti, also known as Dr. M64, and it added some new areas and updated graphics and even included better AI systems for the enemies. The game came at a crucial time for Metroid fans because at the time, it had been about a 6-year gap between another mainstream Metroid game, with Other M being the last one, if I remember correctly. Now, AM2R was such a good remake, it was also nominated for the best fan game in 2016. Crazy, huh? But once again, Nintendo looked upon the lowly peons and declared that only the great and glorious Nintendo gods can make a Metroid game. Regardless of it being free and regardless of the devs being a big fan, they didn't want anyone to take their IP and showing them up. So they DMCA'd it, of course, which got it pulled from the nomination. Thank God, though, Dr. M64's work didn't go unnoticed because Moon Studios, the devs of Ori and the Blind Forest, offered him a job, and that's just fucking awesome. Now, Nintendo did release a new Metroid game, Samus Returns a year after, which is probably why they cracked down so hard, but it really doesn't change my opinion on their blatant disregard for their fans. Just absolutely fuck Nintendo on this one. Now, this one's going to be a painful memory for a lot of people. And it's going to be very painful to bring up, but let's just take a look at it. Super Mario 64 HD. Super Mario 64 HD is exactly what it sounds like. It's a web browser-based fan game made in Unity by a guy named Eric Ross, and they end up having a lot of people come together and work on it. One person was Michael Staple, who actually revamped some of the older tracks from it. Give it a listen, it sounds pretty good. Now, I don't have to tell you how the story ends. Spoiler alert, we all know Nintendo, took it down. They caught one for the project, shut that shit down. Now, 5 years later, we have the Super Mario 3D All-Stars Collection featuring Super Mario 64. The same tuned up graphics, but in my opinion, not tuned up enough, let alone the fact that it lacks widescreen. Now that's something that fans and modders have shown us they can do time and time again. This shit's fucking easy. Whoa, whatever. Another one we're not going to spend a lot of time on is Mario Battle Royale. I'm sure you know it was created by a YouTuber named Inferno Plus, and it was a 75-man Mario Battle Royale. It's just a marathon where players would fight with each other and, compete against each other in a classic Mario level, right? So it was very popular last year and it was gaining a lot of traction. Now, I would definitely recommend going over to Inferno's channel and watching him talk about it himself. But as to wrap it up, it got taken down by Nintendo. So he changed his assets and his character models and re-uploaded the game as DMCA Takedown Royale, which Nintendo took down yet again. Now, to me, there seems to be a bit of a pattern going on here as this list gets a little bit longer, and it seems like fans typically have a great idea, want to make an homage to the Nintendo franchise, do something new for them. Nintendo catches whiff of it. Then instead of taking the Sega approach and embracing their fan creations, just get rid of it entirely. Just say, fuck it, fuck you, fuck everything, fuck it, just nuke it. DMCA. It's fucking terrible. Now, whether this is due to the fact that Nintendo had planned to release these type of games prior to the fan games, or, not, or they're just afraid people can make more popular games with them, which is what I think, still a terrible practice to be. It's just a really terrible practice to continuously shut down these games and be so opaque with their fans and taking this down, and it just seems to hurt their own franchise. Now, these are free games. The popular ones got popular because they're made of more love and care, obviously, and these fan games pull in more fans to purchase the Nintendo games. Now, it really just baffles me, but, let's keep on going. This next one is also very recent. This was taken down in October, and it was Zelda The Missing Link. And it's probably the final game I'm going to bring your attention to before we get to some of the honorable mentions. Now, Zelda The Missing Link was a ROM hack that takes place in between Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. It was led by Kaze Emmanuel. And if you don't know who Kaze is a well-known Mario 64 ROM hack creator who even helped work with Super Mario 64 Online, if you guys remember that. And he's just really well known in the ROM hack community for being, high-quality ROM hacks due to his technical know-how of the characters moving and interacting in the 64, just his creativeness with his custom tools and objects. Now, just to go ahead and spice this up for you, time and time, again and again, glorious Nintendo shall always win. Fuck Nintendo. But for the honorable mentions, to start off with Ocarina of Time 2D. Now, this was a 2D side-scrolling port of Ocarina of Time that chose not to accept donations for respect to Nintendo copyright, and it is gone. Super Mario Brothers 64 for the Commodore. It was created by a guy named Zero Page, and it was a NES port of Super Mario Brothers 1 for the Commodore 64. A fucking 8-bit computer created in 1982. Nigga made a ROM hack for it. Don't know why, or he made a port for it. Don't know why, but it is gone. Now, there was also over 500 fan-made Game Jolt games, all nuked by Nintendo, all DMCA. They took the fuck down. Now, to be completely fair, some of those fan games were making money off Nintendo IPs, so this one's a little bit more nuanced, but they're all gone now. You also have No Mario Sky, which is a 2D parody of No Man's Sky, currently rebranded as DMCA Sky because they're cheeky boys. But, Nintendo still tried to shut that shit down too. Over the last 5 or so years, Nintendo has made it more and more apparent that they are opposed to fan games and anything of the like. They have little to no tolerance for it, and it's honestly disappointing. I, like you, love Nintendo games. But as Donkey put it, Nintendo makes good games, but they're a terrible company. Donkey, Critical, MatPat, Hungrybox, Mutahar, more and more people are coming forward and speaking their minds on it, and we all seem to be unified in this that it's just too much. Now it's time for a change. And honestly, in my opinion, we're past the point of talking. Now, I'm not saying you need to go down the streets and burn down your GameCubes and piss on Sakurai's shoes and shit, but if you just hear me out for a second, I think we just need to stop buying Nintendo products. If you truly believe that Nintendo is doing too much and they're in the wrong, stop buying their products. Don't buy Breath of the Wild 2, don't buy any more Mario or Pokemon games. Really take a stand. Remember, when we stick together, we can make change. The last time EA had gotten to hot water was because the Star Wars Battlefront 2 microtransactions people were getting so upset about, and their stock dropped by 8.5%, which is around $3.1 billion. And honestly, what happened next was pretty surprising. They changed. They changed how the games work. They changed their system because, we hit their wallet. We hit it where it hurts. So we have to do the same with Nintendo. So I just think it's time that we stand strong against Nintendo and all the sort of shit that they're just putting us through.